All right, the S&P 500, the Nasdaq 100, that's what we're talking about here on the day now. Today, today's one of the choppiest days I've seen. I mean, back and forth we went, but today gave us a lot of information because, in my opinion, sellers had every opportunity on the day to push us down lower. I mean, you literally had 10 opportunities to push us down. When we look at where the Nasdaq was here also on the day, you continue to press lower. I mean, if you look at some of these major levels, for instance, the biggest level being your previous all-time high, we've sat below that. You also got back below this like level here, 23,775, and like you just got no continuation. And that's really been the story. ES, very similar story here. You sat below your big level here all day long, and nothing happens. Um, you know, my goal when it comes to looking at the market isn't to predict like the future of what's going to happen. I don't try to go down that road. I try to react to what's happening to hopefully give me an edge moving forward, right? That's generally what I recommend doing to anybody, right? Is stop trying to predict and just try to react to what's given to you and then make money off the reaction, right? Unless you're buying something like long, like a leap, okay? So when I look at this and I talk about having these opportunities from sellers, it tells you that you're not getting the strength from the sellers, right? You know, if we flip the chart inverted, right, it's just you're stair stepping to the upside, right? And you break levels, but nothing really happens. Now, when we take a step further back and we look at something like SPY or QQQ, I think you look even better because for SPY, for instance, gets below some of these local lows that you kind of had here, and you just do nothing. Like you break down and get right back above, and you just hold. Like you just do nothing. I mean, honestly, for SPY, I want to see a retest of like 639, 640. I just don't think that's going to happen. Like maybe I hope it happens. Hope it gives us an opportunity on a dip because again, I don't like just FOMO buying at higher highs. It's just not what I like. I like to buy on a dip, get some value on a position, and hopefully buy something that's undervalued. Right? A great example of that recently has been UNH. You know, and I always say there's going to be another opportunity. There's going to be another opportunity. But I use UNH here as an example because you know Nvidia ran. That was our another monster trade we mentioned down at like $100, right? You guys all remember the leaps we bought way down here below right there, right? But still, and you know, everyone's like, well, what's the next? You know, I got a FOMO, I got to get. I'm like, guys, there's going to be another opportunity. The more recent opportunity was United Healthcare down at 250. You know, those contracts went bananas. They're literally went berserk. So again, something to just think about as you're approaching the market is like there's going to be opportunities. There's always going to be a stock that gets undervalued. There's going to be another big setup. And it's really just about waiting and for that opportunity and reacting when that does happen. So point of that is you're not getting that type of opportunity here even on SPY. Like you're getting some like attempts to break down and then nothing happens. When you look at a market and when you're seeing your lows being broken on the day, pre-market lows, whatever it may be on futures, and there's no continuation, that's bad for shorts. Like if you break all-time highs and then you just go back down, that's bad for bulls. Like that's not what you want to see. So hopefully that makes sense when we're talking here, because if that doesn't make sense, it's going to be hard to understand anything else I'm talking about. So before we go deep diving into my favorite stocks, what I'm looking at in the market right now, I do got to say right now, if you are interested, the Discord link is down below. Now, there's going to be days like today when there's just not a lot of opportunities that I'm just dying to trade. Like I think we only mentioned 2 trades here on the day, Palantir to the downside, and then also Microsoft. That's all we traded. Like there was nothing else that we written, no longer dated contracts, but you get to see what we trade, why we're trading it, everything in between. You can see all the gains, losses there as well. But again, if you want to like get 30 different trades a day, Discord's not for you. Like this is the most, I try to make it as realistic as possible so people understand that like this is what I do for a living. This isn't like, you know, I'm not trying to, I could blow it up and I could post 30 different trades and, you know, try to not care about anyone making money in the market and just try to post a bunch of winners and, you know, clickbait, but it's not what we're trying to do. So if you actually want to learn, Discord might be for you. Do what you got to do. Now, again, there's going to be days like today where it's just slower and I'm just not doing much. And that was kind of the story of today. Now, again, taking another step back and we look at where we're at and what's happening. I think you have to be paying attention to semiconductors, okay? Again, SMH, you dip, but you're holding previous levels, just chilling, not really concerning. The bigger watch here has been NVIDIA for me. And the more I look at NVIDIA, the more and more excited I kind of get here. Again, you've really sat in a range here on NVIDIA between basically 183.5, 179.5, back and forth, back and forth. You saw like a little false breakdown on Friday, but bounced right back up. You're just chilling here. Like, again, what quantifies a bullish trend a bullish trend and then a bearish trend? Well, a bullish trend is really simple to understand. We don't got to overcomplicate it. It's not rocket science. Higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher. That is what NVIDIA is doing. And now on top of that, you're getting to all-time highs and you're not even really getting rejected. You're not really selling. You're just basing right here. And another thing we look for is a rally-based rally, right? So you rally up, you base here, you just sit at highs, and you rally up again. Meta's notorious for doing this. NVIDIA has been pretty notorious as of recent as well. And that's what you're doing. You're just sitting up here, just chilling. So the market kind of, in limbo, not knowing what to do, going back and forth. And NVIDIA is just sitting here, just waiting. Like $200 is loading on NVIDIA at this point, in my personal opinion, right? Important to understand, like the leaders of the market are just chilling at all-time highs. AVGO. If I go into this blind, and I'm just looking at the market, not paying attention, I might think AVGO is bearish. But when you zoom out and you look at what's happening here on the 1 hour, 2 hour, you're basing at highs. Again, this is incredibly, incredibly bullish. And the fact of the matter is Nasdaq's not seeing the selling. That's the other fact here. And the same thing would go to the upside. If we were breaking over massive levels and then rejecting back down, I'd be super concerned, right? But that you're just not. So again, when I look at that, I think the market still looks very healthy, looks very strong. Minor pullback as of right now. The other part here is it's funny, while Nasdaq is moving kind of lackluster, the strongest area of the market has now shifted towards Dow and ES. I definitely think they're outperforming the Nasdaq right now, especially on the day. And so you're kind of just chilling up here, right? And you're trying to break out and move into your next local level, wherever it may be, right? Which I think it's 45.7 here on Dow. ES, all-time highs, obviously, right? So you just look good. You're just sitting at highs, and now you're getting a little bit of a rotation to where it's not just tech and semis. It's other areas of the market, which when you get everything going, then things tend to move pretty good. Now, the other part is people saying, well, this can't last forever. We're going to dip. We're going to this. We're going to that. Now, I like to be as real as possible. In my opinion, it's stupid to be the first one into a position, right? I don't need to be the first person short to make money. I've proven that. If you go back to March, April, we talked a lot about it. A lot of big opportunities. We made money at the downside. You don't have to be the first person in a long. We went over that. I really didn't start going long until we broke above the 200 SMA. Then I started hammering longs, and we made a lot of money. I might have missed out on some profits, but I reduced my risk tremendously, okay? Now, the part of people saying this can't keep going, I got to just take a step back and just let's have a logical conversation here again, which we don't love having those. Again, this was your previous all-time high back from 2021, and then you had your 2022 dip. When you eventually broke above this in 2023, you literally ran up in basically a straight line for 2 years almost. I'm just saying, that's the reality of what happened over a year and a half, okay? Then you dipped off this news and you're breaking it out. Historically speaking, when we break all-time highs, we get a pretty decent move. Measuring this move from here, it seems like you're going to get more. I don't want to be the prediction guy, but for someone saying this can't keep going, it hasn't really been going that long. In retrospect to previous moves, it's only been a month or two. Don't shoot the messenger, okay? Now, I will say September, October tend to be slower months. I pray to God we get a dip or slow down so we get bigger opportunities into the end of the year, but we'll see. So, again, worth mentioning, worth watching that as well. Now, favorite stocks, what I like the most, biggest opportunities out there, okay? I'm just going to run through these as quick as possible. I like AMD a lot, personally. You finally got that gap fill. I've mentioned it here plenty of times, so if you didn't trade the gap fill, do what I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, right? But I said if you break below 179, you're looking for the gap fill, easy. You filled the gap today. You're kind of in the middle of this range, though. Don't love that. But I do think AMD pushes back towards 183, 185. Pretty easy. I still think semis look good. I think this is a little bit of an overreaction on AMD. I like it a lot. You also had some bad news today. Intel. This is real. I'm steering clear of Intel. You can do whatever you want. If you want to buy stock, I think stock might be the only play here on Intel. But basically, if you don't understand what's happening, is Trump said on Friday that America's looking to get a 10% stake in Intel. That was weird. That was a weird statement, but Intel loved it. Obviously, Intel went straight up. Well, today it came out that Trump said, well, based on the CHIPS Act and what we've done with Intel, that America deserves to just get it's already ours. That's crazy. I'm not gonna lie. Intel obviously did not like that news and it dipped. So we'll see what happens there. But really weird action. I would steer clear. I'm just clarifying if anyone's like curious what's happening, why there's volatility. That's the simplest way I can explain it. So understand that. Okay, Tesla, really interesting here. I've been very clear. Tesla, I don't like it dipping back down under 335, but you did what you had to do. And this is what I always talk about is your 200 SMA, your support, your resistances. You can have any like opinion you want on the market. But ultimately, when you start to formulate opinions or feelings or what you think is going to happen, and you start relying on like basically just thoughts, that's what you're doing. You're not really applying it to the chart or, really using like what's there in front of you. You're just applying like feelings and emotions. And like as stupid as that sounds, it is. It really is that stupid to bet your money on that. But like whatever, especially when you have stuff in front of you. But again, you hit your 200 SMA and you bounce. So any thoughts of me saying like, look, I was like, I don't really like Tesla down below 335, 330, right? Which I didn't trade it. And it's okay to have those thoughts and emotions and just not take the trade, because then you're putting yourself in a situation to not have emotions in trading, which is the best thing you can do, right? But again, you bounce where you need to. You're getting back into 335. Looks really good. Potential as well, like bump and run off the lower highs you were making. Not bad either. You start getting back above 336. It looks really good. Be totally honest. And like you're breaking the downtrend. It's what you wanted to see. So hopefully we can get back up. I'm not trading it here, but I still like it a lot. Meta, really interesting here. If you get back above 771, it might be one of the easiest trades I've seen back into like 785, 784. Hands down, one of the easiest trades out there if you can get back above. Okay, so am I looking to go long here? No. Am I looking to go long here? No. Let's understand what the words coming out of my mouth, as Chris Tucker said in Rush Hour. A break, retest, yay. That's what we want to see, okay? That's as simple as I can make it for you, okay? Understand that. Still looks really good. UNH, I kind of told Discord I'm not going to do too many more updates on UNH. Like, it's at that point to where like you're just letting it ride. As Lodi said, last update on UNH, I think it has more room up, but the contracts went from $19 to $41 right now in 1 week. Pretty crazy. Where we ended up getting in those as well, right? Going back, just show you guys, for instance, so you're not cap trapping here. You can see right there where we got into this, okay? I think UNH still looks really good. There's nothing really to talk about here. If you get above like 325, like 325, Euro liquid back into 375. So again, this is why I went so far out on contracts. I don't have to think about it really. I just kind of like move stop losses and let the trade go. Like I don't have to like worry about it. I will say you got most of your momentum and your news. We'll see what happens going forward. I think you need to see good earnings for this thing to really heat back up, but I like it. So do what you want with that one as well. A little bit further, Palantir. This is one of the trades we took here on the day. Now, this did not come all the way down to my level. And this is a great example of if you want exact entries and exits, Discord is not for you, right? Because I'm not that guy. I'm not going to tell you guys, everyone, sell. Everyone needs to sell right now. That's not ever going to be me. Like, you're a big boy. You're an adult woman, man, I don't care. I'm not going to do that. That's crazy. So one of the trades we mentioned here on the day was Palantir. And I've mentioned it here as well a few times. You can see going back, let me just show where it is, right here. So again, we're looking for the break and retest of this level right there. You ended up breaking, retesting, and then you ended up right here, and then you ended up shooting down, right? I was looking more towards like 171. You got like 20, 30 cents off of it, right? Some people make good money. Some people held till forever. I don't care what people do, okay? Now, the next trade here, though, on Palantir is if you get back below 170, because I think right now you could be over-aggressive, and I think people could get trapped into a short position here. If you get below 170, it's an easy short. Like, again, no liquidity down to 161. It could be a straight line. I would just trail my stop the entire trade. Like it a lot. Definitely at the top of my watch list. Be watching it close. If you get back above 176, I think it might, crazy enough, it might be worth relonging. We'll talk more about it when it happens, but the downside trade is more exciting for me for the time being. ARM, wanted to see a 200 SMA touch. You didn't get it. It is what it is. Netflix, probably, in my opinion, the most bullish stock out there. I think that's a little overhyping. I just love the setup here. Again, like you're holding your 50 SMA here. I can already know it's where it's at. Yeah, you're right there on this like support level they had marked out as well. It's funny when that happens. But I love Netflix where it's at. So number one, you're here like on the 15 minute, but going back over the past few days, making clear as day higher lows and kind of a flat top here at like 1245. I believe this is running 1260, 1262. I love where it's at. Big fan. Very strong on it. I think this is going to keep going. Big fan. I think it's, and it held up like all day long and keep making higher lows. It's what you want to see. Very strong. Costco, another big name out there right now. What I'd be watching though for sure is the 200 daily moving average. You're getting pretty close to it for another retest. I traded this back towards, where's Costco? Yeah, I traded this back towards 992. I was looking for 1,000, but I had a key level that you rejected right off of it. Sucks to suck. That's where you're at. Now you're kind of bull flagging here. You can clear, I mean, I think it's pretty clear to see how this is kind of flagging out here. But anyways, so you can see how that kind of it's forming there above the 200 estimated. You hold above 974, 972. I think it looks really good back to 990. And then ultimately 1,000, 1,004. What I'd be looking for there. I think Walmart's also a really interesting name. I would love to see, actually, Walmart is giving you the retest. I didn't even check Walmart here on the day. So Walmart is giving us a trade that we wanted originally, right? So when we're looking at Costco, Walmart, we only wanted to enter Walmart if you retest like $100. I think Walmart here is a great trade. I think risk reward is awesome. Great setup. As long as you stay above 100, maybe stops at like 99.5, 99. I think you look really good. You're pretty illiquid back into 103, 104. I'd be watching this like a hawk back into all-time highs as well. Very strong overall. Looks really good. Amazon kind of just chilling up here. You got back above 224, never looked back. Great reaction so far. Some resistance 233, 232. That's all I got to really watch for there. Looks really good. Google. I've been saying I like Google a lot back in all-time highs. It's right there, 207. You got really close to this on Friday, I believe. Sucks you didn't hit it. But you're still making higher lows, holding up. I like Google a lot. Be watching it. This is what I'm saying. Like, the more I go down my Mag 7, right, the more you realize, like, the stocks that hold up the S&P and the NASDAQ all look good. Like, even Apple. I didn't even mention Apple, but Apple looks good, right? And so, when you're in Apple, I will say you break below like 230, probably pull back aggressively. We'll see what happens. It gives us an actual opportunity for some entries. But it's like when you're looking at the market, I think sometimes it really can be, we overcomplicate what we're looking at. And we don't really get down to the simplest things you really need to be looking at is, okay, does NASDAQ really look that bad? Not really, but let me just go look at what's happening. And then you look at the biggest, best names, and they're holding up. Now, could they dip? Could they all fall tomorrow? And could bad news come out? And could inflation surge? And all hell break loose? Yes. Anything in theory could happen. But as it comes to how I trade, how I look at the market, I'm not going to pretend that I'm the oracle and I'm going to predict the future, right? Everything that we do here on the channel is all about knowing what to look for and then ultimately knowing, like, how I'm going to respond and react if X happens or if Y happens, for the upside or the downside. I really try to make it that simple. There's no like going both ways or anything like that. That's just how I view the market. If you have questions, let me know down below. Twitter links down below as well. Have a good one, guys. Hope you had a good weekend as well. See you guys tomorrow.